Hey guys, this is Rhys from the Vanguard Team at Manor Realty, and with me is my teammate, and I hope I've got the last name correctly because she's also recently married, Kayla Maglovsky.
Yes.
I'm still allowed to say that?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I haven't, well, it doesn't, the government hasn't acknowledged my name change yet. So for now, yeah.
But we're going with the Eastern European name for now.
Yes.
So guys, Kayla, I love the fact she's with us today to do the monthly market update for Windsor, Ontario, because her niche specialty is selling businesses that are profitable and a lot of leasing out of commercial space. And it's going to give us a different insight into the market and those opportunities available to you that you might not have been thinking of, especially if you're like, I need to buy a duplex. And it's like, do you? Because there's other ways to use your money here, and we're going to get into that. Kayla, why don't we start with the actual market update? I'll share screen. So, guys, as always, and everybody can see that?
Yep.
Yeah. So, guys, we are the Vanguard team at Manor Realty in Windsor, Ontario. We have a heavy specialty in income generating properties and income generating businesses. As always, if you like what you're getting from these videos, subscribe below so that YouTube can continually feed you those informational videos and opportunities in Windsor as we post them. So, guys, what we're looking at here, you can just pause this if you want our web channel, guys, okay? So, guys, market update. Again, it's hilarious how stable the market's been this year. So, Kayla, you won't know this, but it's like this is like the least exciting part of the whole video because we're stable on listings, we're stable on price, we're stable on months of inventory, we're stable on days of market, and we're stable on sales to list price ratio. And so, guys, what I think Kayla and I want to talk about, we were talking about this before we got on, is this is not going to be the norm going into 2025. And Kayla, maybe you want to discuss this a little bit, but like, what are all the chief economists saying, and like the Conference Board of Canada, that sort of thing? What are they saying going into 2025?
So they're saying that it's going to switch over to a buyer's market because the amount of inventory available is going to go down, meaning there's less properties available for purchase,
Yep.
making it a little bit more competitive and switching over to a buyer's market.
Yeah, seller's market only because it's in the benefit of the seller. That's the way they do it. It's backwards of your intuition. So you're right though. It's there's going to be less and less inventory per buyer, and so the buyers are going to be competing for those listings. So, Kayla, you're absolutely correct. So, guys, what you're seeing is the price. I want to point out median sales price here, right? Median sales price, it hasn't really moved for the last 6 months, which I have not seen. I haven't seen a stagnation of price in a long time. It's just important to note that we do not see housing prices going down, nor are they going to, especially with interest rates really dropping quickly. And with the fact that 31,000 people moved to the Windsor area in 2023, and we expect another 40,000 are going to be measured through 2024. You talk about supply and demand, you talk about the lower interest rates to make the houses more affordable. There are no indicators that are saying the interest rates are going to drop, or the
Prices.
housing prices, thank you, are going to drop. So Kayla's absolutely correct. If you look at Benjamin Tal, the chief economist, CIBC, you look at McKenzie and those guys at RBC, chief economists over there. You look at what the Conference Board of Canada is saying. They're all saying the same thing, is that Windsor is going to be one of 6 or 7 major cities in Canada that are going to be sellers markets, which means you're going to be competing. When that snow melts in March and you're competing against other buyers and you start crying the blues, don't, if you saw this video, you just look at the mirror and you point to yourself and you move on. If you're an investor or you're a first-time home buyer, this is the time, right? If you're somebody going from a smaller house to a bigger house, you want to buy now because that gap's going to widen. If you're like a retiree and you're going from a bigger house to a smaller house, take your time. Take your time selling because your bigger house is going to go up in value more rapidly than the smaller house, right? To use an example, if you're moving from $1 million house to a $300,000 house in 1 year, if there's a 10% gain in property value, your $1 million house is now worth 1.1. Your $300,000 house is now worth 330,000. So you're making an extra $70,000 moving to the smaller house. Does that make sense, Kayla?
Yes.
Oops, I hit the camera. That's bad. There we go. Okay, so here, guys, September through December, or I guess September through November right now, I just wanted to point out simply that the purple is 2023, yellow is 2024 as far as number of sales. And you can see that the number of sales are significantly higher, 10 to 15% higher for the last 90 days. Right. And Kayla, what does that mean now as a knock on effect going into 2025?
That it's about to kick off running. So basically, people are, as interest rates are going down, people are starting to feel a lot more comfortable and looking to buy. It's going to start to accelerate in 2025 as well.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So you can see the early signs here, guys, because the sales are staying more robust later in the year when there should be more downward pressure on sales because of the seasonality of real estate sales. But you can see it's still pushing against that. And that means going into January, February, March, April, you're going to see a higher number of sales come out of that, right? I'm going to skip over this one because average price I'm not a big fan of. You saw median price earlier, guys, at 440,000. That's what I would stick with. It's more accurate. If you don't know the difference between median and average, look it up. It's very powerful. Median just means if there's 100 sales, what's the 50th house sold for, right? The problem with average is if a billionaire buys a $100 million property, it skews all the prices one way. And you can see here that the average home price is higher than the median, right? By $140,000.
Mhm.
And the reason is, and we'll get it, we're going to get to it right now, market activity, great. This is why. So what's happening here? First of all, if you've watched these before, guys, you know that these numbers are skewed. Chop these in half because these numbers down here are bigger variances. We get this from the real estate board. There's nothing we can really do about this. So chop these in half, and what you're going to see is there's a curve to it. But what's happened in the last few months with the dropping interest rates is you're now seeing a tail on the more expensive properties, whereas this was like flatlining before. It was an absolute cliff. It was amazing. But
Mhm.
now that the interest rates are coming down, people are starting to buy more expensive homes again. And this is why you're seeing average home price moving away from median home price in Windsor, whereas earlier in the year, median home price and average home price looked about the same. So it's interesting how it changes. So, Kayla, I've got a question for you. So, based on all this is residential home market activity. But what did you see in 2024 as far as the leasing out of commercial space? And were you seeing? Well, I'll start with that, and then I'll ask my next question next. What were you seeing with commercial leasing?
So there definitely has been an increase in available commercial place units to lease. I would say a lot of people in 2024 really started to utilize the most out of their properties, whether it be separate units or clearing out space for storage. Towards the end of the year, like at this time, I'm seeing a lot of people looking for either something by the end of the year so that they're set up for the new year, or something that starts early in the next year to help make sure that they're set up for success. So I'm definitely seeing an increase in available commercial units as well.
Really? So more people are bringing more stuff online, which is making your job easier.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm seeing a lot more niche. So a lot more people that are reaching out in the sense of businesses that are brand new or have a specific use, and a lot more properties are coming up as the city starts to be a lot more active with everyone coming in.
I saw you filling so many properties so rapidly. Like I'm even thinking the one out in the county now. I mean, you got that listing on a Tuesday. You had the part of it leased on a Wednesday. I was really surprised. So I'm surprised to hear that. I guess it's the same thing as residential, right? We have a lot of people listing their properties now.
Yeah,
Okay,
especially
okay,
as you see, like a lot of the baby boomer generation is on their way out of getting wanting to retire from the business. So
right.
if they're not looking to keep their business going, maybe they just have a really great commercial space. They're definitely starting to open up the properties and do a lot more renovations so that they can appeal to the next generation taking over.
That does make sense, right? Because like you're selling that convenience store right now, and the owner's holding on to the residential. He's going to be the landlord. right?
Yes, he's going to own the property and lease it back to the buyer, and then the buyer
Yeah.
is actually purchasing the business. So they'll still be technically working together, and it's nice for my seller because then he still makes passive income off of the sale of his business by leasing it out back after.
Is that sort of like Olympia Drive? I think there was a little bit of that there too, or was it that sort of thing? No.
So Olympia Drive is it's a warehouse unit, so it's nice because the owner operates out of one half of the building and then has split the other units up and leased out one space. Rudy's Kalbasa is in there. They should be opening in January. And then they have another storage unit space as well. And with what they're hoping to do eventually is move into a larger building themselves and then be able to lease out more space in their original building.
There you go. So yeah, it's as you say, like people are coming up with creative ways to take advantage of all the economic activity that's coming to Windsor. So
Mhm.
that's interesting. I would not have known that. I would have thought you were running out of space to lease, but more people are putting more space up for lease and getting creative, splitting up their places and
With the amount of people that are coming into Windsor and all of the economic growth, a lot of people that were sitting on properties that maybe they just were waiting for the right opportunity to put the money in to clean them out and open them up are pulling the trigger to get that done. So they are taking advantage of all the new businesses and new things coming in and being able to lease out a space to especially it's great for new businesses because if you're not quite ready to commit to buying a property yet, it's a great way for you to get your foot into the door, lease a nice commercial space, and watch your business grow.
I am impressed. So okay, so then let's talk about those baby boomers. What I mean, they're looking to sell. We see it over and over again. Most of them can't sell, right? And we're seeing their ability to sell. The sort of they're struggling to sell it. And I guess my question to you are, with all these people moving down here and all these people that are entrepreneurial and can take advantage of these businesses that are making great money. I mean, the convenience store. You might say, well, why would you want a convenience store? But the convenience store is making enough money that you don't have to work in the convenience store. You can just make the profit, right? And I'm thinking, like, you sold that sort of bar restaurant, Sandy's,
Yeah.
right? And it's the same thing. I mean, the buyer, doesn't have to work in there. He's making enough money off of that restaurant that's been around for 20 plus years. And you're able to get these good deals because baby boomers are not looking to maximize their sale price. They're looking to retire. It's a different mindset, isn't it?
Yes. So it depends on the seller, really. Like if you're looking to sell your business just because, you've been in the business for 20 years, you're ready to relax and retire, there's a lot of opportunity for buyers there because a lot of the retirees are willing to work with the buyer based on not having necessarily the need to sell their business. It's I see a lot more in the issue of not people not really being prepared for what comes with a business sale. There's a lot of information that needs to be put together beforehand in order for everything to cash flow properly and look
Right.
well for the other
Right.
intended buyers. But a lot of the time, it takes a guidance. You need to, make people more aware of the process and make sure you've got accurate numbers, make sure you've got a good inventory. You want to kind of make sure your ducks are all in a row. It does take a little bit longer of a closing process, but if you can get all of these things beforehand, like I always make sure that I have as much financial information. There's no skeletons in the closet behind the sale. It really just helps to make things go a lot more smooth.
For sure. For sure. It can't be understated what a royal pain in the butt it is to collect all the due diligence up front. And quite frankly, I think a lot of the businesses that are perfectly good and perfectly profitable don't sell because they list with residential real estate agents. And you run into this when you bring the buyers. They don't have anything, like nothing. They can't. They have like this, like a scribble, with my guy says he makes 300 grand a year. It's like, really? Well, why is there only one garbage bag out on garbage day at the back? But I don't think they're making 300 grand. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the other thing too, guys. We have like different tricks to know if somebody's telling the truth. The garbage bag trick is one of them. Yeah. So garbage day, you go back, you count the number of garbage bags, and that tells you how busy a restaurant or a bar is, and everybody's going, "Oh, that's great. Yeah, let me write that down." But yeah, so I mean, what are your thoughts on that? You've dealt with it more than I have. It's a royal pain in the butt, but you've been doing this for a
It's
while now, but you must be still shocked when you run into that all the time.
Yeah, there's been a lot of deals that I've done where the seller or like I've inquired about where the seller's agent is straightforward and saying, I've never done a business sale. I'm not really sure how to go on this.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
Good luck.
that's where having a good team to lean on is great because if I ever find myself in a situation where I don't feel comfortable or I don't understand, I have Rhys to get a hold of to help guide me through it. We have other business specialists on the team, Greg
Yeah,
as well. So
yeah, yeah,
it's swallow your pride and ask questions, guys. It's the best thing I can
yeah.
say.
It can't. Yeah, I think you even saying that on video, guys. It speaks to Kayla's confidence in her abilities and the resources she has available to her. She's still in the first 2 years of the industry, and I think Kayla, I still remember at about 6 months when you were confused that you knew way more than people had been in the business 20, 30 years. Right? Do you
There
remember
were
that?
some times where I was like, I just want to check Reese. I'm right on this, right? Just because the
Yeah.
other person hasn't ever, and you're like, oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I started with some pretty complicated deals to start, so that really helped me
We
get on the ground
we
running.
you in the Vanguard team tradition, we grabbed you and we threw you in the fire.
It's
It's
the
like,
only way, sink or swim, right?
yeah, yeah. Well, I was gonna say, oh yeah, can she swim? Can she tread water? Let's see. Yeah, so it sucks going through that gauntlet of pain, but yeah, it's short term. Was it short term pain, long term gain? Yeah, yeah. So
And
yeah,
I
guys.
also, I care about my small local businesses. So all of the work is nothing for the payoff of seeing them succeed.
Yeah, so this is the first time we've done this together. So you'll pick up on this, guys, when you see Kayla more and more. She's going to do a lot of her own videos. So you're going to pick up on Kayla's passion. A lot of times, well, I'd say most of the time when somebody joins the team, I always say, get used to selling first, learn the business first couple years. After a couple years, we'll figure out what niche, sort of, matches your passions. And then it kind of happens naturally. Kayla came in, said, I'm doing this because I'm passionate about small business. And she didn't know it at the time, but I'd been looking for somebody to be passionate about small business sales for like 10 years. So I still think it's a niche that is insanely unaddressed. And guys, so if you're looking to get out of the rat race, you don't just have to do it buying fourplexes. You can do it by buying a business, and you don't have to be in the business, working in the business. You can work on the business. And working on the business is like working on your real estate assets. It's the same mindset, guys. It's just a slightly different list of rules. And Kayla,
And if you're looking to get out of the residential leasing way, leasing commercially, there's a lot of different rules. There's no that landlord tenant board where there's a lot of red tape around a lot of
sure,
things.
sure.
They protect the owner or the landlord a lot more in commercial leasing than they
A-
do with residential.
Absolutely. And quite frankly, you're bringing up something else, and then maybe we'll do a video on this another time. You can buy commercial real estate or mixed use commercial with the business.
Mm-hmm.
Right? A lot of times people want to sell both. They want to retire. They want to exit. They want to move to Florida, whatever. So there are people, investors, for example, there's a guy in town that buys up brokerages, right? And he'll buy them anywhere. He'll buy them in Florida. He'll buy them in Michigan. It doesn't matter. And then what he does is the brokerage will have like 4, 5, 6 branches. No, no, no. He brings it all down to one branch. So he greatly increases his profits by reducing all of those expenses, and he still owns the real estate. So now he's renting out all that other real estate that he picked up with the business. Do you see
Right.
what I mean? Guys, there's a lot of ways to take what you know as investors or what you want to do as real estate investors and tie it into business ownership. And quite frankly, that will give you much higher returns because baby boomers, when they're retiring, they're not looking to maximize profit. They're looking to exit. They've made their money, guys. They want out. Right? That's
Mm-hmm.
a different mindset. And that means it can be much more profitable for you. Right? Even
Yeah.
the fact that they know that somebody competent is going to come in and keep the name of the business and continue the
The
baby
legacy.
that they built, those sort of things are more important than maximizing your profit. And that affords greater opportunity for you guys. So Kayla, thank you for joining us. Yeah, and you guys can tell we're now talking we're way past the market update, but this is because it's exciting and it's a new thing for the team. And I'm looking forward to seeing Kayla do more of these videos because nobody else is doing this down here. So thanks for joining us, eh?
Thank you.
Guys, we are Kayla Maglovsky and Rhys Trenhaile from the Vanguard team at Manor Realty in Windsor, Ontario. Again, all the links are below to our Facebook investment group, our YouTube channel, and everything else. We'll see you guys soon.